What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update today, 2021, as well as the next two upcoming stimulus packages, or the next infrastructure package and the next stimulus package, as well as what is going on in the world today. We also have some interesting news about passing the next stimulus package and infrastructure package through the reconciliation process that we'll be going over in this video, as well as some breaking news about potentially former President Trump being canceled yet again. And lots of stimulus stuff, all sorts of different crazy stuff in this video. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. I will keep you up to date on everything. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget those times. Also, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first up, so you probably already know how former President Donald Trump has already been suspended or permanently canceled from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram indefinitely at this point, from all those major kind of social media news networks. Well, since then, former President Trump started his own kind of blog, his own kind of website titled From the Desk of Donald J. Trump. And this is kind of how he was getting his message out there, his daily kind of talkings about the election and, everything, right? So, well, now, kind of very abruptly, his blog page has now been permanently shut down. And, yeah, apparently a spokesperson said it's shut down for good now and will, quote, not be returning, his senior aide Jason Miller told CNBC. It was just auxiliary to the broader efforts we have and are working on, and that it is permanently shut down. So now, here's the thing: is we don't really know why it's shut down, and the spokesperson saying, "Oh, there's going to be more to come. We might be moving to a new platform." But the question is why is this blog page shut down? And my initial thoughts, just being an internet guy, and I've been an internet entrepreneur for like 20 years now, and just my initial thought is that the background, like the internet service provider, one of the major national service providers, probably canceled him. Very similar to how Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram canceled him. Basically, they don't want him on their network, and thus all these major networks have canceled him because of the January 6th issue. And he constantly talks about how the elections are rigged and all that stuff, right? In fact, I actually seen a recent poll that said, okay, it's actually 2/3, as you can see here, 2/3 of Republicans think that President Biden's victory was not legitimate based in a new poll, which is very, very strong words. However, we've seen all these networks cancel former President Donald Trump and really other celebrities and stuff like that for even saying that the election was rigged. It's a very sticky situation, right? Well, my initial thoughts were is that former President Trump was banned basically from his own website and from the internet service provider, and they really just have a placeholder page up there that says enter your email now. So yeah, it looks like his blog page is shut down for good, and he may have been canceled again. In addition to this, there's major news that, as you can see here, former President Trump has escaped FEC punishment, which is the Federal Election Commission, for Karen McDougal hush money, but the National Enquirer publisher did pay a settlement on this related matter. As you can see here, the Federal Election Commission will let former President Donald Trump avoid punishment for directing hush money payments to his alleged ex-mistress, Karen McDougal, but the publisher of the National Enquirer did agree to pay more than $187,000 for its role in the scandal. The FEC recently likewise failed to approve a recommendation from staff that it sanctioned Trump for directing $130,000 in hush money to Stormy Daniels. And the group has filed FEC complaints related to payments to both women. Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, admitted to paying off Daniels at Trump's behest shortly before the 2016 presidential election. In McDougal's case, American media, the then publisher of the tabloid The National Enquirer, and its boss paid McDougal $150,000 to keep her quiet about her claims of an affair with former President Donald Trump right before the election. So yeah, it looks like President Trump's or former President Trump's blog has been canceled, but yet he's escaped FEC punishment. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Also, let me know if you're part of the 2/3 of Republicans that think that President Biden, his victory was illegitimate. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And the real question is will we see this happen in every election going forward, especially because the most likely scenario for the next presidential election is President Biden versus former President Donald Trump, kind of in a rematch yet again. And the question is will people even believe the results when and if somebody wins that election? Will this just continue on for every election going forward? On stimulus, multiple different things to cover. First, the Cherokee Nation has announced their own stimulus check with the $20 billion that has been provided for tribal communities, some of which will go for an additional round of direct payments for citizens. As you can see here, the Cherokee Nation's almost 400,000 citizens in the United States will each receive a $2,000 stimulus check split into two $1,000 direct payments over 2 years after they have just passed this $2,000 stimulus check for about 400,000 people in the United States. And of course, this money came from the third stimulus check package, which is sending out money for all different states, cities, and counties right now. So yeah, as we've been discussing on this channel, there's literally money going out right now to all 50 states, cities, counties, and tribes. And you can see here, this is the Cherokee Nation deciding to send out $2,000 stimulus checks to 400,000 of their residents. Absolutely amazing. I hope to see this continue in more different states. I've done several videos recently where we've talked about all the state stimulus checks that are already announced, and there's much more to come in the near future. As soon as I see them for your state, or your county, whenever I see information like this, I will let you guys know. I'll also link you to a video I did recently on all the state stimulus checks that have already been announced. I'll link you to that at the end of this video. Okay, next, I want to talk to you guys about some very interesting details that just came out regarding the fourth stimulus check package and the next infrastructure package, passing them through reconciliation. If you've been watching this card or been watching this show, you know this card, the reconciliation process, which is how the Democrats passed the third stimulus check package. This card right here basically is how the Democrats passed it. It means that you only need 50 votes or 51 in the Senate to pass a bill. And normally we need 60 votes because of the filibuster rule, which basically, in simple term, means you need 60 votes to pass a bill. Well, the problem with that is that there's 50 Republicans and 50 Democrats right now. So the way they passed the third stimulus check package bill is not a single Republican voted yes on it in the House or the Senate. The House, you only need one more vote past 50%, and the Democrats have like 4 or 5 more votes than 50%. So they passed it on their own. All the Democrats except for one in the House said yes to it, and they passed it on their own. Now, the Senate probably should be that way because it makes it a lot harder to pass bipartisan bills. Even when Republicans were in control, they used the reconciliation process, most notably and most recently for the 2017 Trump tax cut. So both the Republicans and the Democrats used the reconciliation process, which means you only need 50 or 51 votes in the Senate. I say 50 or 51 because the way it works is if you get 50 Democrats that say yes to a bill and 50 Republicans that say no, 50 Democrats yes, 50 Republicans no, it's a 50-50 tie, then the tiebreaker goes to the Vice President of the United States, who in this case is a Democrat, who is Kamala Harris, and then they become the tiebreaker vote for the 51st vote. That's why I say 50 to 51 votes. Okay, well, the Senate parliamentarian, which is another person, we're going to get into some technicalities if you like that kind of stuff, if you like knowing how our government works, how they pass these bills, why it takes as long as they do. This is for you. I've had literally thousands of comments that saying, "Thank you, Jimmy. I really understand how our government works and why they do this and why they do that. And really, before watching this channel, I've had a lot of people say that they didn't know any of this stuff, and that we've learned a lot of stuff together here over the last year. Well, there's a person called the Senate parliamentarian who is actually not an elected member. She's not a Democrat or Republican, and she's not actually in the Senate, although she's called the Senate parliamentarian. She's kind of like a staff worker in the Senate, if that makes sense. She's not elected, and we'll get to why that's interesting here in a second. Well, she had previously ruled here back in April, right after they passed the third stimulus check package, like literally a few days before. She ruled that the Democrats could bypass the Republican GOP filibuster, or just bypass the filibuster, with two more bills. So we could pass two more stimulus check packages, or infrastructure packages, or any type of packages, any type of bill with the reconciliation process. Okay. So this was a previous ruling by the Senate parliamentarian. Well, now all of a sudden, out of the blue, yesterday she comes out with a new ruling, I guess, which is really bizarre to me, that Democrats can only get one more chance to pass the reconciliation process this year. Now, before you get all worked up about this, let me explain how this works, because man, there's so much bad information out there. I remember hearing a lot of people, and they would come over to my channel and be like, so and so said that they couldn't pass any more stimulus check packages this year at all until October. And I'm like, yeah, they're wrong. And then lo and behold, the parliamentarian came out and literally just proved that it was wrong. And I knew it was beforehand. But let me just explain to you how all this works so that you actually understand and you're not getting fake information from who knows where else, people that don't understand what they're talking about. Okay, so one, the Senate parliamentarian has, I guess, kind of gone back on her ruling and said instead of two more reconciliation packages this year, now they can only do one, which is kind of interesting. But let me talk about all the different scenarios, which is really the most important part. So, number one, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, even before this, you've probably heard me say this on this channel, if you're an avid watcher of this channel, that they can go back and amend budgetary reconciliation processes, or packages. So they can go back and amend, say, the third stimulus check package, which was passed with the budgetary reconciliation process, with just a simple majority vote. So what that means is they kind of have a lot more than one or two, because they can just go back and amend that bill. And for example, they could go back and amend it and say, hey, instead of a $1,400 stimulus check, we're going to go back and amend it to a $2,400 stimulus check and add an extra $1,000. To do that, to amend a bill, all they need is a simple majority vote. So again, they need a 50 to 51 votes in the Senate again. Okay, so they could go back and amend bills and basically just add to them. In this example, they could add another stimulus check to them. And we really have all these Democratic lawmakers from the House and the Senate that want a forced stimulus check. I mean, literally, I show you all the articles every day. Like this, there's over 80 different Democratic lawmakers in the House of Representatives that want a forced stimulus check. We have 28 lawmakers who want to include monthly recurring stimulus checks in the next infrastructure package just from the Senate, which is more than half of the Senate Democrats. And President Biden has says that the weak job report makes it clear the need for more stimulus, and that the White House says that Congress can put a forced stimulus check or even monthly recurring stimulus checks in this next package if they want to. So anybody that says a forced stimulus check's not going to happen, I don't even know why people would say that, because A, they don't know, and B, we have all these Democrats coming out in support of it, and the Democrats are likely going to pass the next stimulus package on their own. Okay, so anybody that says that, I don't even know why they would say that. They're just maybe a negative person. I've had thousands of people that have come to this channel saying a second stimulus check will never happen, and they were wrong, and a third stimulus check package will never happen, and they were wrong. And now a fourth stimulus check package will never happen, and they'll probably be wrong again. In fact, this process, what's going on right now, is eerily similar to the second stimulus check. That basically it took a long time, and eventually they added in, and we see more and more Democratic support, and eventually they got a deal done with Republicans to get the second stimulus check package passed. This time around, they don't need the Republicans, so the Democrats can include anything they want in there. So number one, I mean, this isn't really good news for the stimulus check because the parliamentarians saying they can only pass one more package with reconciliation. But remember, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says they can go back and amend packages to add additional items to them. That's number one. Number two is that the Senate parliamentarian can actually be fired or voted out. Okay, so this has actually happened in the past when one party, I believe the Republicans even themselves have done this in the past. They didn't like the Senate parliamentarians' ruling. They fired them and literally brought in a new Senate parliamentarian. Because again, it's not an elected official, it's just somebody who works at the Senate. Okay. No, that's number two. Number three, they can actually vote on a bill and pass it without the Senate parliamentarian. The Senate parliamentarian is kind of like a suggestion. Dare I say that because it kind of is, because we can actually see this in action from the third stimulus check package. It didn't ultimately end up working, but the Democrats, the Senate parliamentarian, if you remember, ruled that they couldn't include a $15 an hour minimum wage in that package. Okay. It was really big news at the time. But guess what? The Democrats actually voted on it anyways in the Senate. And the only reason it failed is because they didn't get enough votes. Only 42 Democrats voted yes on it. There was actually 6 Democrats that voted no because they think the minimum wage should be raised, but not as high as $15. And that's why I think this year at some point we'll probably see a minimum wage raised to around $11 an hour. We actually have a bipartisan bill from Senator Mitt Romney and Kirsten Sinema for an $11 an hour minimum wage bill. I think that'll probably happen after these packages kind of done because they're kind of taking center stage right now, and then they'll probably pass a minimum wage boost after that. But they actually voted on it in the Senate to basically just have it included without the Senate parliamentarian. They just didn't get enough votes. If they would have got the 50 or 51 votes, they would included it in the package and basically just ignored the Senate parliamentarian's recommendation. Okay, that's number three. Number four is in October, which is about 4 months away at this point, starts the new fiscal year. October 1st is the start of the new fiscal year for the US government. That's when you get a whole new replenishment of reconciliation cards. So in 4 months, so literally one, they can go back and amend other packages to add more stimulus items or checks to them. Two, they can actually fire the parliamentarian if they want to. Three, they can vote on a bill even though the parliamentarian suggests it can't be done through reconciliation. They can do it anyways if they get the 50 to 51 votes, which the Democrats can do. And four, they get a whole new replenishment of reconciliation cards on October 1st. So yeah, again, it's not good news for stimulus, but it's not really bad news for those four reasons I said. Because you're going to see some people saying they can only pass one more package, and if they use the reconciliation process for the physical infrastructure package, then they can't pass any more stimulus, so there'll never be a fourth stimulus. And again, because of those four reasons, that's not really true. I do think it puts a little bit more emphasis. Again, I always tell you guys the truth here. That's why we're here. That's we go through this every day, right? I do think it puts a little bit more emphasis on if they can get a deal done with the Republicans on the physical infrastructure package, the American Jobs Plan, which again Democrats want to include a stimulus check in there as well. As you can see right here on the screen, there's 28 Senate Democrats, which is over half the Democratic senators, that want not just a forced stimulus check, but monthly recurring stimulus checks in the infrastructure package. And that includes Senator Bernie Sanders, who's the Senate budget chairman, the person in charge of the reconciliation process, as well as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, are both two of those Democratic lawmakers that have actually signed a public letter to President Biden urging for not just a forced stimulus check, but monthly recurring stimulus checks. But it would be easier if the Democrats can come to an agreement with the Republicans on the infrastructure package and pass it with bipartisan support, somewhere around probably 1 to 1.2 trillion. As long as President Biden is willing to come down that low, I think they can get a deal done there. In fact, the Republican negotiator, Mrs. Capito, actually sounds very optimistic that she can get a deal done with President Biden over that. One, they can pass that infrastructure package faster, and they could literally have it done here like in a matter of days. Literally vote on it in the House, vote on it in the Senate, boom, it's passed, and write the bill and vote on it. So yeah, it's quicker. And then two, It just makes it a little bit easier to pass the next stimulus package. Of course, there's four other ways around that, as I said, to pass more packages with the reconciliation process. But really the number to kind of think about here is a year and a half. The Democrats have about a year and a half until the next election. That's really where the Democrats have the next year and a half to get everything done, including the Social Security raises that they want, which I'll link you a video here in a second, the Medicare raises, the extra Medicare benefits, and lowering the Medicare eligibility age to age 60, passing these stimulus checks, expanding the child tax credits, which are monthly stimulus checks that are going to go out on July 15th of $250 to $300 per month, to extend that for at least 4 more years. 2 years of free college, 2 years of free preschool, student loan debt forgiveness, other types of debt forgiveness, such as mortgage debt forgiveness, tax debt forgiveness, credit card debt forgiveness, and medical debt forgiveness. All these things, they have about a year and a half to do until the next election, because that is really the time frame to think of when the reconciliation process, in my opinion, isn't really a limiting factor because of those four reasons we went over. The limiting factor is the next year and a half. That's how long the Democrats really have between me and you and probably 100,000 people that are going to watch this video. That's really the time frame that the Democrats have to pass everything they want. Okay, because when that next election comes, if they lose even a single vote from the Senate, they lose control of the Senate. If they lose just a few votes, probably like 3 or 4 votes in the House, they lose control of the House. If they lose control of either one, they will no longer have the trifecta of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and then every bill will have to be passed with bipartisan support, which is how the pack stimulus checks and stimulus packages were when former President Donald Trump was in office. So again, still can be done. I mean, we've seen 5 packages passed then, but yeah, if you want to think of any time frame or anything that's a limiting factor, think about a year and a half. That's really the main limiting factor. Is the Democrats have a year and a half to get Social Security raises in there, Medicare raises, stimulus check 4, stimulus check 5, recurring stimulus checks, child tax credits, student loan debt forgiveness, 2 years of free college, all these things they want to add in, they have a year and a half to do it. So I don't think everything will be in this next package. They're already talking about another package after that, but really just think a year and a half. That's how long they have to pass everything they can. Now they could retain the House and the Senate after this. But that's like maybe a 50-50 chance or less, because they got to retain both the House and the Senate. And again, if they lose just a single vote in the Senate, they lose it, or just a few votes in the House. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I will keep you up to date and always give you the real story and actually understand how this whole process works. Man, a lot of other people, they just they don't know what they're talking about, basically. Ah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below and click the bell icon to all notifications. New videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date with everything. You can click this video here to see all the state stimulus checks and other stimulus checks that are coming out in June, July, and August through the different stimulus programs. And this video is about how President Biden wants to raise Social Security by $16,000. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.